And we are live. Welcome to the new normal. I'm your host, Lisa Davis, aka Like Queen Lisa. Today is Tuesday, so that means we have our Truth Tuesday with my buddy Satoshi Sean. Kamala's coming for your guns, you guys. What do you think about it? We're gonna hear what Sean thinks about it, as well as the riots in Venezuela. The military is getting involved apparently, and the Texas AG had a big win. So we'll talk about all that right after this. Give us a like and share the video, please. Happy Tuesday, Sean.
Hello, happy Tuesday to everyone.
Good to see you. Good to see you. I'm going to make sure I share this with everyone because now that I still have not figured out the Twitter thing, I just need to have to like pay a thing, but I can't figure out the button and I haven't taken the time to do it, and shame on me. So I need to do that. If anyone would like to support the channel and help me pay for the Twitter streaming thing, go to Patreon and join me there. And I demonetize another one of my videos. Why does it say that's stuck? Oh, there's something wrong. It's saying I didn't do a video with I am, but I did.
Yeah, that one from us a couple weeks ago never showed up.
It never showed up after we were live?
Then yeah, I told you, hey, it's not there. And you were like, really? And then I went back and checked hours later.
Your birthday one?
Maybe it was, yeah.
I think it's your birthday because it's saying upcoming. No, now it shows it and says it's on live. That was your birthday one.
Let me look.
What is happening?
So,
no, we're missing a week. A whole week is missing.
Well, you were away last week, right?
Right.
But there was a couple weeks ago, and it would never showed up. And I told you, and you said you would look at it, and I think you even said that you could see it. And I showed you, no, it's not here.
Oh yeah, there's some missing because I have a Truth Tuesday on June 25th, and then I don't have another one with you until July 2nd. Well, that would be about right. Then
I'm weird. There's one 13 days ago, and then there's one 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, then July 9th, but then July 6th.
So why is there two? Like a day apart, 13 days ago, and then 14 days ago?
I don't know.
That doesn't make sense.
Something
and 3 weeks ago, they're doubled up now. That's very weird.
That is very weird. I don't.
And then it's 1 month ago, and then it's a whole nother month. It goes from 1 month to 2 months.
But I can see them on my side. They say they're live. Are you looking in the live column or are you looking in the home column?
I'm looking in the live.
That's wrong. Something's
1 month ago, and then the next Truth Tuesday is 2 months old.
But you know what? Like, we have this false reality. We see what we post, and there's this thing that they do, the theys, they make you think that your stuff is out there and that you're posting, because how you see it, how you view it, is how you think the public sees it. Well, then I was signed in. I was logged in on another profile or identity on another browser, and I went and just scrolled through my X account. Nothing I post hardly is there. Like stuff.
Yeah, I looked at a video because I have another browser that has a built-in VPN for free. So I went and looked, and I had this comment on a Potato Man video I did, or on my meme coin pics, And it was a long, huge comment. They were like, "Yeah, I like paper potato, blah blah blah." It was like 3 or 4 sentences long. It was a big comment. And then, but I couldn't like it. I could like it, but I couldn't heart it because I'm not logged into my account. It's a different
Oh,
account.
because you're like a third party. Yeah.
No, so I'm just a different account, but I'm in Russia or wherever. I don't know. I can change it.
Okay.
But anyway, so I go back to Chrome to go and heart it, and it's not there. And it said that there was the right amount of comments, but it didn't show the right amount of comments. So I went into the video, and you have a place where you have to approve some comments, like if there's curse words or something in it,
Okay.
and it wasn't there. There was that comment was nowhere to be found. I couldn't find it. It was very, very odd.
That is really odd. Well, even Elon today, and I was like, okay, Elon, what are you going to do about it? He posted a thing about, hold on. Somebody showed where they like were searching for Donald Trump on Twitter.
Yeah.
And here it is. Let me share screen. Show you guys this. And Elon goes, that's weird. Well, yeah, fix it, Elon. You know this is happening. Wow, this is crazy. Searches Donald Trump and only gets news about Kamala.
Well, that's not the one that he was. Is that from the beginning? He put in like, oh no. There was another one that he posted, and it was assassination, and it went and then it filled out like JFK, blah blah blah, Grover Cleveland, attempt on, and still nothing for Trump. Assassination attempt on Kennedy, Cleveland, Reagan, blah blah blah. And he put in D. Still nothing for Donald Trump. They wrote it out, and still nothing in the predictive text. He had to write the entire thing out.
It wasn't doing the AI predictive text.
And then hit search, and then it searched it, but it's not like it shows you the most, because that's like Vanity Fair and all that. They're like, these are the most asked questions, and people go on there and it's like, does Keanu Reeves, and it shows you like the 10 most searched things, and then they answer those questions. But it's not how it works with certain people. It's obvious. It's controlled.
It is obvious that it's controlled. Another example of that would be the recent Venezuela vote. That's when it rhymes that much, that's a coincidence. I don't think that's a coincidence. This was the Venezuela election graph and the Georgia election graph. And we've all seen this famous F for fraud.
Yeah, I mean, there's coincidences, and there's enough of them, and then that's what's called a pattern.
Yes. And we look for patterns to find the truth.
Believe the science.
Yeah, believe the science. My tail. This is also happening. Venezuelan army captains, Javier and Juan Carlos something sent a message to all soldiers. It's time to make the right decision at a historical moment. It's evident we have a new president-elect. Time for the army to intervene. I don't think he's talking about Maduro.
Things are pretty bad there.
Yeah. And Maduro's threatening the public.
There's people dead in the streets. A lot of people dead in the streets. So we have, I mentioned Pepe Potato Man. Lee's a big part of that. And there's an admin that's, runs the chat. And just like, hey, how's it going? And she said, what's going on? What's going to happen next? They kill anyone that disagrees with the protest. Yesterday, the opposition gave an overwhelming victory with 70% of the votes, and Maduro decided that they won with 51%. And the countries like Argentina that want to support us have a difficult time since Maduro is supported by China and Russia. It's a shame they consider themselves winners. And they're like, that's fucked up. Um, she's like, I'm really worried about my dad. He's out there in the street. And then she sent pictures of just like
Terrible.
people laying there dead, shot in the face, beaten. It was
Well, and this is where I'm like, okay, but the military is saying they're going to get involved. And I'm like, okay, so we had our election stolen 2020, but we, the people, didn't go out in the streets and rise up and do the things. And so is that why our military didn't get involved?
Of course, but also these guys.
So are we going to have to wait? Like, as much as I've always said, like, oh, we're not going to get, I don't think we're going to, surely we're not going to make it to the election in November. Now I'm scared for we the people that, like, literally civil war, literally, like,
Yeah. Well, that's what
it might have to get to that point of that we lose another election.
We are going to lose another election.
I never thought
it is going to be scammed. And the thing is, we don't have these tough looking bald guys. We have, and Trump said it at Bitcoin. He's like, the military, we have the best military, the badass are not woke.
And he said they're not the woke ones.
Well, at the top, maybe they're, and that's who these guys are. And we don't have it. We don't have the military's leaders are not going to stand up, are not going to do anything.
Oh, I don't believe that, because there's the DC generals or the Washington generals, and then there's the real generals. So I think
Washington generals always lose to the Globetrotters.
Exactly.
How freaking apropos.
And that's why they were talking about it.
They're going to lose. I think we go another time. They're going to do it again. I think people are going to be more mad this time. I think there may be unrest. But I think that it's
then do they finally, but then does that drag it then into the spring where people are like, look, this happened again. We're not going through 4 more years of this.
No, we will.
They revolt by not paying their taxes and say, like, no taxation without representation.
No, not going to happen. Not going to. All these things have already been thought out. How many IRS agents did they hire? How many marshals did they just hire? How many? It's all been thought out. These armies have already been purchased. They've already been set.
But in Venezuela, the police are taking off their uniforms and putting their guns down and saying, we stand with the people.
And during the Black Lives Matter stuff, a lot of cops knelt down. In France, a lot of cops knelt down and said, hey, we understand. But in the end, they still, there's more to throw at them. I don't know if I told you the story. I'm sure I've told you the story, but I don't know if you remember. I have a friend of mine is a super cop in Britain. He's like famous, and there was a big protest, and I posted about it on Facebook, and he goes, mate, this is fake. He goes, this is I'm in London, this is not real. And then I sent him some more stuff on it, and he said, this precinct is like just like a half a mile or like a mile and a half away from where my precinct is. They didn't tell us about this. He said, there's no way we shouldn't have. I don't understand how they kept. It was like 100,000 people that were at this, and this was years ago. He's woken up a lot more since then, but he was like, I don't understand how they could have kept this from my department. We don't know anything about this. And he's like, and it's in London. So I'm just telling you what I think. I think that we have all the people in the Pentagon, not all the people. I think there's, good and bad, but I think that the leadership is, and what's ironic is that if someone is in that position of power and authority, and things get screwed up, the first thing they do is like, I resign. This was messed up. This is wrong. Take responsibility. I'm gone. And what have we seen since Clinton? Since Clinton, when everything's, oh, this was terrible. This is no one has taken responsibility for anything.
No, because they've all had sovereign immunity and all this bullshit.
Yeah, before everything was the same. But people, if there was a big screw up, first thing is like, I resigned. I am sorry. This should not have happened. The buck stops with me. And it was something that Rush Limbaugh used to make a joke. He's like, Clinton says the buck never got here, which he laughed about it. I never think it was that funny, but it was true, and it's been true since then. Like the president, the former president had an assassination attempt, and it was one of the worst, just security debacle. Right. Forget about, Secret Service and all, just security. Like for like a concert or music concert, it was ridiculous. And she's like, I'm not going anywhere. Everyone's like, you need to resign. She was like, no. And until all of Congress were like, we're going to put you in jail. Right. Like, you made us feel unsafe. Everything you've just lied. We're gonna do whatever we can to put you. Then like the next day, she's like, okay, I'm stepping down, because we've made it so that all of those people, we haven't done it, but we have elected the people that did it. They've put those people in positions of power
take the fall. You're saying
past 10 years. The fall guy. No, to absolutely just obey, to do and obey, whether they took a I mean, the people. I had friends that were oath keepers, and this is like a decade ago. They're like, hey man, there's this group, and we'll call ourselves the Oath Keepers. And what does that mean? Well, it's just police, first responders, prison guards, anyone that took an oath to the Constitution. We just vow that we will never break it, and we will always keep the oath. And I was like, oh, that's nice. And that's like the last thing I knew about Oath Keepers. And they've made those people domestic terrorists.
I know.
And broke that down. So they've been setting this up for 10, 15, 20 years.
But that's where I'm saying, are we behind the curve or are we in front of the curve? Because what's happening in Venezuela is the people stood up. They said no. Maduro threatened them and said you would be punished severely. He came out with a statement. I think he tweeted last night or this morning. And the military units were called in, and the military units are now embracing the protesters instead of stopping them. Mom's pulling up news articles and stuff.
Also, there's another thing about Venezuela. They don't have any money. And that is the big difference. It's like, hey, man, I'm just doing my job. I got to put food on the table for my family.
Yeah, now, they're going against what this.
Yeah, because they don't have food on the table for their family. The government doesn't have money. So the government doesn't have power, correct?
I see.
That's the difference that we have.
And that's Cliff High's data, is that the dollar will be worth nothing.
That's the big thing about Bitcoin.
You're
that's
right.
The big thing about crypto. That's when we take that pillar away. That's when because all throughout man's history,
that is the slavery system.
That's always been the one thing that can prop them up is their riches. And when we take that away, and people have control and sovereignty over the money.
Yeah.
That's what changes things. And it's not, nobody can go into your church and take all the gold. No one can go into your house and take all of the, everything that's valued. They have to put a gun to your head, and you have to give them that private key.
Yeah.
It's yours. They can't take it away.
Well, that was another thing I wanted to talk about was Kamala is saying that she's going to come and take everyone's guns, which they did save another 14 children in Mexico, which was a positive thing. Hold on, let me see here. I'm on the wrong page. Where this town is dead. So I guess Laughing Hyena
it's a great idea. But I mean, listen, I don't think we lack for great ideas. As I've said many times, we've been having great ideas for decades. The problem is that Congress has not had the courage to act. And that is why, from the beginning, I have said my agenda includes attempting to get Congress to act, but if they don't within the first 100 days of my administration, I'm going to take executive action. Because what we need is action.
Like if the election were to be stolen again and they were to be able to put this ineligible fake candidate probably wearing a bodysuit and mask, but let's go along with that narrative. And she were to try to confiscate Americans' guns, that would put them in the streets, I think.
Okay, well, here's 2 points of view. One, they've already done it, and people bowed down and handed their guns over to the military.
Not in the U.S.
In the United States of America, right
Where?
next door. Just look up Katrina. They took the guns, they stole them, people kept them, and they destroyed them.
I didn't know that.
Everyone's guns. They raped people. It was Tucker Carlson.
Yeah,
it was horrible, right? But they took everyone's guns for no reason.
For their safety.
For the national. I mean, there are people that are like in their house is okay. You know, they've weathered the storm, and they were just, do you have any weapons? Well, I just got my shotgun and this, and they're like, no, you don't. And they took their guns.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was very, very. The Katrina thing was so many. It was a complete breakdown of the United States. Everything, and it happened. But when it comes to this thing, they've already put out certain laws, and the sheriffs all stood up in different counties. We're not going to do this. We're not going to do it. We're not going to do it. So I don't think they're going to. I think they're going to. She said use executive order.
Yeah.
Even if she does, it would be held up. It would go to the Supreme Court. It would be knocked down. Just it's all theater. Like I watched, and everyone got mad at this woman on the show. It was on, I think, Gutfeld. I watched because Biden said something about stacking the court now, or no, term limits on the Supreme Court. That is something that they could do. And I can't really stack the court. And our government's been set up so that these things can't mess with each other. That's what a check and balance is.
Right.
You know, there wasn't supposed to be an FBI. They said no national police force. Too much power, no. And now we've got FBI, CIA, NSA, all that, and they're all getting dirt. They're all getting dirt on each other, so that that's what Epstein. That created Epstein. You know what I mean? To get dirt on everyone, so that everyone can.
That's been going on for a long time. That's what the Playboy Mansion was.
Yeah, but so all that started with with breaking the rule and creating the FBI.
The FBI, which was
so the checks and balances that are supposed to be in place, like the oversight committee for the intelligence. That's the guy that Swalwell's on that, who slept with a Chinese spy. Mm-hmm. But we'll let him stay on that because we have other dirt and we want him to do whatever we say. So that's why the checks and balances afterwards don't work. But this is original checks and balances. This is, and I got something I'll play that Nixon said. But so it's made so you can't mess with the court. You can't. And, you know, the court can't disband the Congress. And everything, it's set that way. So this lawyer chick, she said, I think they're going to do it. They're going to say this, but it's all political theater just to keep the masses happy. Like, oh, yeah, we're going to make term limits on this. And then they'll, argue about it for 6 months or 8 months until something else comes up. And, and then they'll say, oh, we can't do it or something. It'll go away. But it's all just bread and circus. It's just theater. So I don't think she should be able to
To actually go there.
actually
More waking up people that would be offended by that, saying like so many people say, "Oh, I don't get into politics. I don't get into it doesn't affect me." Yes, it affects you.
But if they did, I mean,
Freedom and
that's
right.
the thing. They are when they did do similar stuff on a state level, and I mean, all sheriffs except for one that was literally the one of Chicago. Every other sheriff in Illinois was like, "No, we're not going to enforce this law. We're not going to do that."
Well, hopefully
You,
there's
you,
more
you
of that.
realize that the government's not real. That it's just an idea. That laws aren't real. You know, it's not like God said, "Don't eat the apple." They ate the apple, and then everything changed. It's
Mhm.
literally just, it's like your parents saying, "Hey, don't do this," and then you do it, and if they never find out, nothing happens. Um, but if they do that, and then it shows people that they have no authority, all of a sudden, then you're looking at people not paying taxes, because that's not even I watched this thing with Petra Pet David. It was the saddest and coolest thing I ever saw. It was a bunch of kids, and they went to this school, and they're like, "Hey, what do you want to? What would you do if you could do anything?" And they were like, "Oh, I want to be an astronaut, fly in space. I want to make
Mm.
a flying car." It was like crazy stuff. And then they went to, I think it was Palestine or somewhere. It was over there, and these kids were so happy. They were on the playground. They were like, I want to eat bread.
Oh my
I want
God.
to know where my father is. I haven't seen him for a long time, and I want to know he's safe. Well, the kid's like, yes, I haven't seen my brother for 6 months. We don't know where he is. And it was like, and he said, the first thing you think is like, oh, look at these American kids are spoiled and blah, blah. But he goes, it's not like that. He said, the thing you have to understand is that the idea of I want to make a car or fly in a car doesn't even enter into their realm.
Yeah, Maslow's hierarchy of needs is
They
there.
don't,
Yeah.
they can't comprehend that. It's not a real thought. It's like us saying, I want to fly like Superman. I want to be invisible. It's not
Right.
going to happen. There's no way.
Right.
But that's how we think. That he was like saying that people don't understand how much better it is in America. How much
Soft we are. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's true. My husband was saying the same thing earlier today. Two big wins for Texas Attorney General. He did $1.4 billion settlement with Facebook over unauthorized biometric data collection. So that's part of us getting our IP back, our own name, image, likeness, NIL. You'll hear that. And then he also got a thing to demand they complete the wall. Where is it? Her. Attorney General Bailey. Oh, this one is not Texas. Sorry, different Attorney General. I've obtained a court order forcing border czar Kamala Harris and Sleepy Joe Biden to finish President Trump's border wall. They decided not to appeal. So they did not appeal, which makes it final. Then they drop it. If they miss a certain date and they don't appeal by a certain date, then they cannot come back and appeal later. So he has the court order to force them to complete the wall.
Do you think that was interesting about the border czar? How they were rewriting current history, that she never was a border czar?
I've heard that.
And
they're like, oh, that was just a name that some right wing
station that she was not in charge of the border, and it's only because of us. It's because of dudes on YouTube and Joe Rogan, and it's because that and it's alternate media and people talking about it that helped brought it back up, brought the receipts, and no. And there's still people but there's still, a lot of people that are like, oh well, no, she wasn't really in charge of it, because that's what they've been told. And that there's a lot There's probably
Well, that's like the gaslighting over this week after the Olympic thing. And they're like doing this whole thing about, well, it's just that you're not cultured Americans. You shouldn't be offended by them having a child with this guy with one nut hanging out at
Yeah.
the table, and like disgusting, you know?
Yeah.
And then, oh, it's art and you're just not sophisticated. The gaslighting is incredible.
And I said that in a post that I made. I'm like, look, man, I'm looking for any excuse. And I don't see how this was not just hateful. You know what I mean? It wasn't just like, hey, we can offend this religious group.
No, the big fat lady, I don't know if she's a really lady or not, had Baphomet tattoo on her arm. They outed her on Twitter. That somebody showed it and circled it. Like, it's a satanic.
And it's a big
fight.
thing. Like, hey, and then but then I've seen like this argument with a lot like of younger people. They showing like joke photos like The Sopranos. They did a picture that was like The Last Supper. There's been so many, TV Battlestar Galactica. All they've done a joke picture of The Last Supper. Like, I think I have with friends. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's not mocking. It's not like that. We didn't all dress up like,
Satanists.
Yeah, we
have
were
a child there too.
we were recreating the picture.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was because it was funny. And if they would have made like a little mecca, everybody would have like been walking around the wrong way in devil costumes. No way they would do that. And something that blew my mind, Andrew Tate was with his brother in front of the French capital, picketing.
Oh.
And he had like the picture of the two, and he was posting, my brother and I are on parole, and if we get arrested here, we'll be in prison for months. He said, and we're Muslims, and we're here because this is wrong for Christians.
Yeah, I've been boycotting the Olympics.
Yeah, I'm not going to watch the Olympics.
Yeah, we're not watching.
But I said they just wanted to offend a religion that they could. It's just hateful.
Yes.
There's even
nothing productive building up. They weren't promoting something, they were tearing down. Yeah, I agree. Let's jump over to your channel and do 30 minutes over there. I gotta have dinner around 6. So
okay,
I have another meeting after this always. So I have to like hurry and eat in between.
Okay. Love y'all.
All right. Love you guys. Thanks for joining us. Go over to Sean's channel. The link is in the description. Please like and share on the way out. And we'll see you guys next time.